Today on this competitive Warhammer 40k match, we have the meta Deathguard against the Necron Awakened Dynasty. So if you're wondering how these two armies match up against each other, you're going to want to stick around because we're going to take this 3-hour game. We're going to condense it down in about 20 minutes, tell you what worked, what didn't work. And let me tell you, spoiler, there's a lot of things that did not work in this game. You're gonna want to stick around because it's gonna be a lot of good value today. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, breaking things down here, we are playing on the new layout 7. If you haven't played on this layout yet, I highly recommend it. It's I'd say for the most part, it's a good layout. It's cool. It's different. And we're also playing on the new mission Hidden Supplies, which is probably one of my new favorite ones in the pack. It feels just very dynamic, having 4 objectives to fight over in the center. And then having, your home field still count for the hold more. I think it just makes it a very interesting dynamic mission all the way through, which is great. That's what you want. So, without further ado, let's flip over to the actual game here. And, as you can see from left-hand side, we got Bryce back in the house. He doesn't only play T-Suns. He plays the old Deathguard as well, man. So you could say the man is in a pretty good spot right now. Pretty good spot.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Dog's freaking out. But, yeah. Yeah, man. This was a really cool Hidden Supplies. Fun to play, especially a different type of board because there wasn't a corner, so we had to flip off for it. So, yeah, it was fun to play. And it's fun to see that Layout 7 and 8, like you said, are playable.
Yeah, I think Layout 7, is the most interesting. Probably agree over 8 just because at least you have, these nice firing lines, going downfield here that you don't have an 8, which makes it a little bit more interesting. But, you're still having to pay attention to this X line right here is really what you're trying to watch for. So, so here we go, guys. All right. So, going against Deathguard. So a couple things we got to be wary of is basically, the Death Shroud Terminators. He's got a lot in this list. I think it's 18 or something like that.
I've got 9 Death Shroud and then another 10 men of Blightlord Terminators. So just a bunch of 4-up kind of things, and Death Shroud are pretty shreddy.
They're pretty good. Good. We got Nurgle Demon Prince, freaking T12. Dude. Only has 10 wounds, but T12.
2-up, 4-up, 5-up Feel No Pain with enhancement. Minitarian. That's what everyone's calling him.
Yeah, I mean, he's good. He's good. So, I mean, going into this game, you have to. It's one of those matchups where, look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's tough, especially on a board like this. I mean, this was, very intentional, trying to just throw myself into the tough stuff and see what we can do, and that's how we learn quick. So the Death Shroud, more or less, you're trying to limit, where they can get to. It is the biggest thing with their contagion. So if you can really limit their board presence or attempt to, in the first couple turns, try to do that. But it is relatively difficult right now just because they can either use the Poxwalkers as a vessel to bring up the Death Shroud Terminators, which you're going to see in this game, or they can potentially even just use the Bloat Drones, just yeet them up, spread the contagion that way. They're 100 points, totally a fair trade to get Death Shroud in your face and lock you up. So, Necrons are going first, and we are playing, again, Hidden Supplies, and we get Recover Assets and Establish Locus on this first turn. So, fairly straightforward turn for me. Again, with the new Challenger deck, I think it's a good rule of thumb where you don't really want to go up a lot of points in the first turn and just give your opponent a free Challenger card. So this was a relatively good pull, at least for the Necrons, in terms of just, getting an easy 5 points, 3 points on Recover, 2 points on Establish, and passing it over to him. So we essentially staged up the race. It was a very quick turn for me. We have the flayed ones lining the wall here for infiltrate to essentially act as a screen. And then we're moving up the flayed one, or the race here just to get on the objective. And then we have just the flayed ones doing recover back here, and then the hex mark or something since it completes immediately now, which is nice. And then we have the combo of Xeris and the Scorpek Lord, Scorpek King, I should say, basically keeping Lone Out for Xeris. and just forcing him to get up onto the point. And then we do have the hex mark here covering 18 inches as far as like an Overwatch threat if he wants to bring anything off. But Bryce did a really good job. What you're going to see here is he lines LOS with these Poxwalkers, which I'll let him talk about going into his turn. But that's essentially turn 1 for the Necron. So passing over to Bryce, like kind of what's going through your mind in this matchup before kind of going into your first turn? Like what are you really thinking about or trying to explore?
First couple turns, like I bring in this list, I think I'll always bring 3 units of Poxwalkers. They are my just go up. They'll spread out my contagion. I can spend a couple CP or CP to increase the range by 3 in my command phase. So by turn 2, they'll be in. They might be contagion range 9. Maybe you'll be able to see it coming up here soon. So they're just the big screen. They're OC1. They don't have a save, but they're 5 at Feel No Pain. So my thing is, if the cards tell me to, I'm gonna push up and then just get that contagion range going, because once you become afflicted, Death Shroud are coming down, and I'm just going to put a bunch of bodies on it. You know what I mean? So I told Kylan, this is the game plan is always the same. When my go turn is go turn, I'm going to put everything in front of you, and can you kill it all? That's the question I ask. And if I can't roll 4-ups or it doesn't work or something like that, yeah. So yeah, that's kind of like what I'm just setting up just to spit out contagion.
And he's got, the highlight of this detachment and why you're seeing a lot in the meta is it is the detachment for -1 damage. And then also like Bryce was mentioning, the +3 inches for the contagion are probably some of the strongest strats in the suite. And the synergy with the Demon Prince being able to give the CP reduction for any unit within 12 inches, is that correct? Is just crazy good. So now he can essentially pop that 1 CP strat on any Death Shroud unit he wants for the -1 damage, which is just really strong. And DDAs, you got to sequence it correctly because they're flat 4. Death Shroud are 4 wounds each now, so the -1 damage, if you don't set it up properly, it's just like crazy overkill. But let's get into the turn here. So he's going to get area denial and engage in all fronts first turn.
Yeah, so basically, Poxwalkers up top of the board have their job. Like we said, the hex mark. I thought it had a line on them, but it didn't have a line on them. So I was able to advance up, knock you off that OC for that point. Just deny primary. Just put 3 on. Don't control it, just in case draw a storm or anything like that.
Super good move here. Super good move.
Just knock you off there, and then I kind of string them out a little bit to like make the awkwardness of the king, make any other deep striking you have coming out. You have another DDA, I believe. That's
DDA
in reserve.
Yep.
So obviously DDAs want a big line, so I'm testing out in the bottom of the screen. If the DDA comes this way, what's the angle it can draw to me? Because these are prize angles that the DDA wants are maybe not that close, but just solid angles. Anything that you're going to get your 2-up on hits, your devs and everything like that. So I'm trying to just push it out. I try to limit resources on area denial. My spawn, I kind of misdeployed my spawn, that my spawn would be able to do it, but it's okay. I'm going second. I know I'm going to be able to come back. I know if anything, I can go down in points to draw a challenger card, keep the foot on you to either score points or keep it low score. So yeah, I kind of just save a resource for later on instead of putting out for air denial, and just about to go. This is my first turn, so about to go into the second turn for a big go turn, hopefully. And yeah, that's kind of it. Just like you, just a quick staging up.
Yep, it's solid stuff. So now basically going into turn 2, we're only going to get a 5 on primary just because we hold this objective, and we're going to extend battle lines and sabotage. So another decent pull for me this turn. We're not drawing any kill secondaries, which is nice. I don't really have to really force myself out. And here, essentially now, before I move any of my pieces, I'm kind of trying to measure and game plan my turn and see what this looks like. And my main target this turn was this unit right here, because what makes Deathguard super nasty is essentially what you're visualizing here is these guys want to come out, you can advance them, and then you can add their standard contagion range would be 6 inches going into the
6
turn,
inches
and then
on
you can
turn
make
2.
it 9 with the strat.
Yeah.
So what I kind of misunderstood, and this is like nothing on Bryce at all. This was just like me like mixing things up. Is when I was thinking when this unit comes out, essentially they have like the Death Shroud have a 9-inch bubble that they can come out here. But what ends up happening is these guys come out, whatever they touch that is within contagion, and then they can come off of the Death Shroud can come 6 inches off of that unit.
6 inches, yep.
So you're gonna see this unfold very badly here in a second, which is gonna be really good to highlight here. So we stage up, we get extend battle lines, easy peasy, and essentially what we're trying to do is the flayed ones are pushing up the screen, and basically what I'm game planning is the flayed ones need a 5-inch charge to these cultists. Okay, I don't know why Bryce is already laughing. I don't know why you're trying to spoil anything right now. Okay, they need a 5-inch charge to these cultists right here. Now, Xeris is essentially a backup plan if he does want to heroic intervene, which is probably a good idea because he can heroic intervene with either the Demon Prince or the Terminators to clean up the flayed ones and then get on this point, and then he's scoring extra primary for the turn, which I don't want. So the Xeris is pushed up here as like a backup plan of that happening. Okay. So basically what ends up happening is the flayed ones fail their charge. Okay. Definitely spent a CP reroll. If somebody could comment in the chat of what percentage chance of 5 rerolling is. But they failed, unfortunately. So this is the board state going into the top of 2, going into the bottom of 2. We get sabotage, we get extend. We're still scoring, our secondaries, but in my gut, I'm like, this is disastrously bad. Over to you, Bryce. So you get marked for death and defend stronghold. So not a bad pull for him. He's just gonna make the gamma target the flayed ones, and then I'm not touching his home field, and take it away, my man.
So like especially with these secondaries, how that sets up. I wasn't given any actions. If I was given kill secondaries, even better. But it leads me to do whatever I want for the turn. And seeing that the flayed ones did not make the charge, I'm going to push out my Poxwalkers in that corner that they were trying to make a charge on, and I'm going to advance. In my command phase, I'm going to spend to increase their contagion range, so it's going to be a contagion range 9. Basically, I'm just trying to touch those Wraith units in the back, right?
Yep.
So now that I'm touching those Wraith units, I'm able to bring in some Death Shroud in that corner. So I have to be 9 inches away from the Reanimator. But the really fun thing is I can be within 6, charge, pile in. I don't really care about the Reanimator, but all I want to do is tie things, be annoying, and put 6 bodies or 8 bodies with the Lords in them, just on points, be annoying, and they're really tough to kill. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring out, basically, like I told, bring out everything. I'm going to bring out the Blow Drones. I'm going to bring out the Blight Lords. I'm going to bring out the Demon Prince. I'm putting so much in his face that he can't deal. He wants to deal with the Blight Drones because they'll just pick off anything. I mean, I think one almost killed Xeris just by himself. You know what I mean? So they'll just pick off anything. I think you rapid ingress the DDA.
Yeah, rapid ingress the DDA. Yep.
I was able to take two Bloat Drones, took Xeris down, and then you rezzed him up.
Yep.
And then I dropped with one other Bloat Drone. I dropped, I think it dropped to like 4 or 5 wounds on the DDA. Like strength 10, you're T9. I'm hitting on 3.
That's the thing. Like, I mean, like you were saying, you spend the strat for it's full hit and wound rerolls.
Yes, spend 1 CP for a full hit reroll. Yeah.
And they're flat damage 3. Like, I'm just letting you guys know right now, if they pop the strat, pretty reliably 2 Bloat Drones will take out a DDA.
Yep.
If they don't pop the strat, then no. But 2 Bloat Drones in the strat, I'd say.
And what it really, because I have the Lord of Rulinson, so he spots something that gives all my shooting reroll 1s against that target, which I did Xeris, right? So it lets me spread out my rerolls. That if I overkill one thing, okay, great, I have another CP. I'm going to go into the DDA.
Yep.
But yeah, so basically do some good killing there. Do some good chipping wound, not even chipping wound, big chunk off the DDA, and we're gonna make some charges everywhere, basically.
And just to highlight this one more time, just because this is like, I mean, the key synergy to understand with Deathguard is the contagion they can spread 9 inches from any unit. As soon as as soon as one of your units is within that, then the whole unit counts as basically like a contagion bubble for these Death Shroud. Yep. And that's the thing that I misunderstood, and very important for people watching, is that you really do need to screen out the 6s against this, because if you don't, this is also exactly what's going to happen. But continue.
It is going to be hard. I feel like just like with Hypercrypt, with the 6. I mean, when you do have a big space and everything, but yeah, it's if you screen yourself out or to be able to not allow the 6, then are you leading yourself into more of angles for long range shooting and stuff like that for blade drones? So it's kind of almost a win-win right now where Deathguard is and how this synergizes. But yeah, so we make some charges. I try to get a little cheeky and get a little gamble, see if I'm able to kill both Zarus again in melee and then kill your Technomancer in the Wraith Lords.
Yep.
I end up doing a decent amount of chunk into the Wraiths and killing the Technomancer. He obviously res him back up, and I kind of just, the other squad of Death Shroud weren't able to do it, but that's a attack. That's okay, because all I wanted to do was put, like I said, 8 Terminator bodies in your backfield. Then I wanted to put another 10 on the center objective and just be annoying as hell.
Yep. I would just like to highlight, like, if you guys are paying attention to like what this board state looks like in one turn, and where we were like just one turn ago. Yeah, this is what they can do very quickly if you're not careful. So
the slowest army in the game can get to your home field.
Yeah. So we're gonna get a big old goose egg on the old primary going into turn 3, and we're gonna get Assassination and Storm Hostile. Again, not a bad pull. I mean, despite the board state right now, at least the secondaries, I gotta say, they were being kind. So. Yep. Mainly what we're trying to do this turn is we're definitely trying to get this objective back. And then we're really just trying to get rid of this Lord of Contagion right here. Unfortunately, they do also stand back up on a 2+. It is what it is, but I knew for the most part, like, this is the top priority right now. And this is what we set up the DDAs for, where we can basically just max firepower, everything staying still, hitting on 2s, dev wounds, and trying to get rid of this stuff. So you're going to see this play out here as we push forward. And it's basically go time because of our errors. And so you're essentially seeing Scorpex are flooding up this way just to back up for Lord of Contagion. Wraiths are falling back, getting on this objective just to give me OC on this point, just in case this goes badly. We have a Scorpec Lord as backup to charge in. Zarus is still alive, thankfully, so at least we could do a little something there in terms of just creating some sort of move block. And this is essentially, I think, more or less how it unfolded. Unfortunately, again, these Scorpex, I think they needed a 6-inch charge re-rolling.
Maybe a 5 or 6 or something.
To the Contagion, they failed it. Didn't I roll like a 2 and a 1 and then double ones? I think it was.
Yeah, for sure.
It was, man. Love to see it. So Scorpex fail. Lord of Contagion is just sitting right there in my grill. And then we got the Scorpec Lord's going to charge into the Death Shroud to just whittle them away. I believe this is also the Scorpec Lord with the Feel No Pain, so I knew that probably 2 Death Shroud and the Lord of Contagion wasn't going to pick them up, and that was correct. And this is essentially the board state going into bottom of 3. So Bryce is going to get a 10 on primary, and then he's also going to get a tempting target and Storm Hostile. So I believe I just make this objective a tempting target. Yep. I mean, this is like super easy this turn for him to score. So he's going to get this one. I mean, he's in a place where it doesn't matter what objective. So it's going to be an easy 9 points for him. And pass it over to you, man.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of, now that I know where DDAs are. That's my next top priority. I'm causing havoc. You're in contagion rain. You can do only so much now that I'm in combat with you, and then basically everything's in contagion. So I have one more unit of Death Shroud with Typhus that is probably going to pop down here soon. But my biggest priority is still overloading him with too many things to kill and taking up DDAs off the ground, because flat 4 damage is nasty if I don't have my -1 damage. So I need to take those down. Yeah. So just basically put Death Shroud and Typhus down there. We talked about this for a second. If I should go to the other side, maybe like kind of like pressure that side. But honestly, like we came to like this kind of like thing where it's just like, dude, just keep hammering this side away, and just, I mean, yeah, it just overload that side, and especially that's your natural expansion. So it's like just keep the pressure on. I'm able to move up the Blight Lords pretty easily. They're going to try to make a charge, and then yeah, basically I'm setting myself up for super redundancy. So two blight drones at everything will be able to go to DDAs and Zaris. So if anything happens, if one kills another one will shoot at the other one. So there is a little bit of sequencing for shooting, but we are able to pick up Zaris, the DDA, my charge in. Yeah, I just keep making havoc. I'm not going to kill the Wraith Blob, which I really don't care about, but you're not going to do much to me anyways.
Right.
So that's kind of, yeah, I mean, I just keep where I'm at, and then, yeah, just see where the king is going to go. You know what I mean? Because that'll probably be the next thing. I'm not looking at him as damage. I'm looking at him as OC. He's a big base plate and he's big bound of OC. So he's probably my next target after the DDAs. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just pushing me in now, and just saying, more or less like deal with it.
Yep.
And so going into top of 4, we're going to get a big old goose egg on primary again, and we get cleanse and a tempting target. I was not in a position. How did I actually get tempting target this turn?
Because I put it down on the bottom one, because I wanted you to keep going to the bottom one.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that makes sense.
I wanted you to keep like sending resources out that way and keep falling back. Yeah.
So yeah, this turn more or less, he makes this one the tempting target, trying to force me to put more assets on this. And more or less, we're losing our assets here. We're losing, our key damage pieces, and more or less just going to try to see what we can do with what we got. And we're going to push up here and make one round of blows, see if we can try to get rid of this Demon Prince with shooting from the Silent King and a charge. I was CP starved at this point as well, just because I spent so many early CP trying to reroll those charges. So I was like, I need at least a cash in from cleanse or something. And yeah, we get a decent amount of these down. The DDA fires into here. The Scorpex are going to be able to charge into here, but it's still not enough to get rid of what I needed to. So the king, unfortunately, was not enough to get rid of this Demon Prince. We did charge in the Doomsdark, which is a lot of things that I highlight on these battle reports. I cannot understate enough playing DDAs aggressively, because they are freaking OC5. Like, it is so good.
That blew me away, because I was counting up the OC in my head, and I was like, hey, you had 3 race on the point, and I was like, there's no way a DDA is more than 3 OC, because usually that's, what most, 2 to 3 OC, maybe 4. But yeah, I mean, nutty.
Yeah. So by doing this play, it locks in tempting target. It locks him up into combat, because the nice thing as well, I mean, you're just wedging that arc in there, and a lot of times it's just too much for them to kill for a lot of even melee armies in the game right now. So, and then that's pretty much it. I mean, going into turn 4 for Bryce, he's going to get another 10 on primary, because he's going to hold these 2. And then I'll let him talk about, he's got Cold the Horde, which he cycled, Cleanse for 5, and Secure No Man's Land for 5 as well. So a money pull for him this turn.
Yep.
So, I mean, again, he just has to really just focus on just killing the stuff here, and it's pretty much GG.
Yeah. I think so. We did the math a little bit, measuring out the poxwalkers in that bottom screen. I had enough to move on 6 inches or 5 inches. They move to get on just one or two. I won't OCU until I take some things off the board. So that's kind of just like the plan. I put redundancy at the top for the DDA. So if everything he doesn't have an object, two, I'll be able to get cleansed somewhere middle, the top. So I'm just setting myself up to be able to do that. I end up actually killing. I think I killed the DDA in this one.
Oh yeah, yep,
Yeah,
it's gone.
yeah, kill the DDA. So that knocks off how many OC? 4, 5 OC.
5 there. Yep.
Yeah, 5 OC. And able to cleanse that, double cleanse, and I keep charging in. He's falling back with the race, which gives me another. Keep charging in, keep pressure on. Don't let those wraiths do much. They're hitting on 3s or 4s now with the -1 contagion, wounding on 5, so they're not really going to do too much to me. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that. I tried to go for a little bit of tricky play to do with the Silent King. Try to get down veneers. If I was able to do a couple wounds to him and maybe like do a little bit of damage to him in melee, I would out OC you or tie you for OC.
Yeah,
on the
you would have tied OC here. It would have been 6-6. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I think I just killed a veneer and then it'll come back.
Reanimated.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a little lucky there for sure. So I mean, basically going into turn 5, I mean, we're going to bring up the Ophidians. We have the Hex Mark that's just lining the objective here, giving them flexibility to pop up. We have a Reanimator left and Mr. King. So we do get a 5 on primary, though, baby. And we get Pivotal Moment because we were finally down on some points. My first Challenger card. We tried to hang in as best we could. I was thinking like a teams match, at least at this point. But and then we get Display of Might, which we couldn't do. Didn't have enough units on the board. Engage in all fronts, not the best. And then Mark for Death. So we just made like, I think, I don't even know what it was. It was probably the Bloat Drone or something that was the Gamma target.
Yeah.
And then Mark for Death. And then we held 2 quarters at the end. And then, I guess we actually killed the Demon Prince.
It was a Demon Prince.
Yeah, we killed the Demon Prince. I guess we killed the Demon Prince.
The Gamma was a demon because he was left on like 1 wound or something.
So we killed the Demon Prince, and then going into turn 5, Bryce is going to get a 24-point bottom of turn. I swear, I think it's most games right now. I feel like it's been pretty common that bottom turn.
I think that we talk about this so much. I think my biggest gripe with everything, the balance, the Challenger cards, everything, is they have very, very few want to go first. For sure, it's great to stage. For sure, maybe Terraform for that 1-2 points extra. But going bottom of turn, hidden supplies, take and hold. I mean, just about everything out there. I mean, Scorched Earth going second, and I play T-Suns. I'm going to get max primary. Like, you're not going to not let me. I'm going to get max primary just on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's some you gotta plan for, I guess, for the most part. So finish up 85-53 to the freaking Deathguard. Well done. And I mean, this match gave me a lot to think about. I mean, I will say that I mean, obviously Deathguard are just strong in general right now. Having a little bit more of an open board, I don't know if it really helps or hurts me because, Deathguard also have really good shooting as well. But I think it does really help Deathguard just overall, just because they can stage a lot farther up the board to make it easier to get that the contagion ability off. But the thing is, I think one interesting thing to highlight with this matchup and just tell people at home is like, yes, you can go after these poxwalkers, but the other problem really, I mean, is these freaking bloat drones at the same time. Because it's like, at the end of the day, like, I mean, hypothetically, let's say these flayed ones, they did make their charge, right? And Bryce does want to heroic intervene to maybe get some primary here. Flayed ones probably pick up this whole unit. I lose the flayed ones. He has Terminators on the next point. Theoretically, I mean, he could still, fly over the Demon Prince, like over here,
Yep.
or he could move like these bloat drones, or just advance it and then do the same thing with the bloat drone. And
Yep.
can you do it on a bloat drone? The extra 3-inch contagion?
Oh yeah, I think it's. I'll
Yeah.
have to double check, but that's almost every Death Guard
So
unit.
like in a way, I mean, what can be, yeah, I mean, you got to be really careful with these. I would say the biggest things to watch for are the bloat drone, like threat ranges of that aura. And you know, trying to screen out your sixes the best you can. But it's hey, I tell you what, man, it's a tough little puzzle. It is a tough little puzzle.
It's a difficult one. I do think they'll get hit with a little bit something along those lines. Maybe points, but maybe I don't know. Like they are strong. They aren't OP like people are talking about. Yes, in any army in anyone's hands, it's an amazing army. They've got the tools. They've got, and I mean, I'm running a little bit off meta. I mean, I still use a lot of grit, but like, you know, take out the Blight Lords and now add in Morty. You know what I mean? That's what that is right there. And so having that is another just wild piece to think about. You know what I mean? It's so much fun to look at the board and be like, wow, there's so many. I have so many units. You know, when literally months ago, it was like I was barely scrapping by with just here and there kind of things, but. Yeah, I like them. They're in a good place. I do think they will get a little bit of hit here soon. Not here soon, but maybe in the next couple of months. I don't believe before Tacoma, anything like that. So I'm sure. And I think what was it? We saw 7% or higher were Deathguard players. So at least 7, 14, 20 people at Deathguard going at Tacoma. Maybe even more. I mean, 30 people going to Deathguard Tacoma.
Yeah, I mean Necron. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I feel like, I mean, it's probably going to be Necrons, Deathguard, and Knights that are probably going to be the top represented. I would say. So.
Yeah, I wonder too. Like, I haven't heard too much about about Space Wolves, but I know a lot of people love their furries. Yeah. So, like, you know,
Thunderwolves be back, man. Thunderwolves be back.
Yeah,
we'll shoot y'all. I mean, if y'all stuck around this long. Seriously, appreciate you watching, Bryce. Thanks for joining us again, as always. And we will catch y'all in the next one.